Let's talk about Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints. After starting 2-0 on the season, this team just lost two back-to-back games against the Philadelphia Eagles and against the Atlanta Falcons. Positive side of this, they were in those games to the very end and they really beat themselves. No offense to the Philadelphia Eagles or the Falcons, they earned those wins. But when you look at these last two losses, the New Orleans Saints have to be better. And I want to start off with the Falcons game. It was a pick six in the game. It was not on Derek Carr. It's easy to blame that on Derek Carr. I'm not the biggest Derek Carr fan. It was a deflection by Matthew Judon and went for a pick six. Those plays happened. It was just a crazy play. But it was also a muff punt in the game as well. And it was also a late, crucial pass interference play by Paulson Adebo. Paulson Adebo did have an interception in the game, but it was easily one of the worst games in his NFL career up to this point. He was getting targeted majority of the game, and he was letting up big plays over and over again against the Atlanta Falcons. He has to be better. The main difference in the first two games, they went out there and they pounced on the teams early. Derek Carr was getting huge plays with Rashid Shaheed, Chris Olave, and Alvin Kamara. We've seen the last 2 weeks, the offense has not looked the same. A lot of that is because of the offensive line injuries. Eric McCoy is going to miss time. Cesar Ruiz, he's going to miss some time as well. The interior of the offensive line, they're depending on backups right now. And I still think that they're going to be in a very good situation moving forward, but you're already without Ryan Ramczyk. He's going to miss this entire season dealing with a knee injury. Lucky enough for the Saints, Talasay Fuaga has been a very good tackle. Trevor Penning has been up and down, but he's been better this season so far than what he has been the last couple of years with the Saints. He doesn't look like how he looked last season. Last season, he looked like a complete bust. Right now, he does look better, but the offensive line is not the same. The last two games against the Eagles and against the Falcons, Derek Carr has not been comfortable inside the pocket. When they went against the Falcons, he was 1 for 6, and he also threw an interception as well. They have to do a better job of protecting him. He doesn't have elite speed to get outside the pocket, and it shouldn't all be on him as well. Clint Kubiak, I do believe, is going to be a very good offensive coordinator long term. He may even be the New Orleans Saints head coach one day. We'll see. The problem is this. He depends too much on the big play. When the big plays aren't there to Rashid Shaheed, when the big plays aren't there from Alvin Kamara, it's only so much that he can do. And he is still young into his NFL career. He's still figuring things out with these guys on the offensive end. I think that they're going to have to go out there and just reel in pieces together. They continue to beat themselves, offensively and defensively as well. And I look at this situation with Dennis Allen. I've never been the biggest Dennis Allen fan as a head coach, even dating back to his time with the Raiders. I thought he should have been fired after his first year with the Saints. He isn't a good head coach still. I think that Dennis Allen is a very good defensive mind, and that's his ceiling in the NFL. But it's a lot of penalties over the last couple of weeks. You have to tone down those penalties. The clock management is still starting to rear its head as well. The Saints have talent. With Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, you have Rashid Shaheed. Derek Carr has looked solid through the first 4 weeks. You have talent, but coaching is letting them down from a head coaching standpoint. Defensively, they have done a lot of good things. Brian Bresee is a very good defensive tackle. Carl Granderson is a very good edge rusher as well. Chase Young has done little to nothing with them. I understand majority of this offseason he was recovering from a neck injury that he had to get worked on. He's getting back from neck surgery. He has to be better. Cameron Jordan, I said it last year. I even said it the year before that. Cameron Jordan's days as being an effective pass rusher, those days are done. He's done a lot of good things for New Orleans. Very good stand-up human being. In terms of being on the field and giving you that production, those days are done. And even against the Atlanta Falcons, I'll say this, Carl Granderson didn't do much. There was not much pressure around Kirk Cousins. They did solid against the run. They did a very good job against the run as well against the Philadelphia Eagles until it came down to that last play by Saquon Barkley. So yes, they're 2-2 right now. But at the same time, they could be 4-0 if they did not beat themselves the last two games. The positives, they're in those games. The talent's keeping them there. The negatives are this right here. These are the same problems that you ran into last season and the season before with Dennis Allen, to where you're in these football games and you just can't win them. The Falcons did not have an offensive touchdown the entire game, and you still lost. That is crazy to think about. When you look at what happened against the Eagles, Devontae Smith gets knocked out the game. You also look, no A.J. Brown. They should have easily won that game, coming off a hot winning streak against the Dallas Cowboys and against the Carolina Panthers. I think that the Saints can still be a threat in this division. They just have to come together and play as a team. And Clint Kubiak has to make more adjustments on the offensive end as well. As far as their secondary is still their strong suit of the defense. I like the defensive pieces that they have. Yes, Paulson Adebo had a bad moment and a bad game in general against the Atlanta Falcons, but he's still a very good cornerback to have. Tyrann Mathieu is still a very good veteran safety to have. Marshawn Lattimore, when he's healthy, he's still the best covered corner. You have Alontae Taylor as well. DeMario Davis is a good linebacker. I'm not talking about playoffs. I'm not talking about the future right now. But when I look at the Saints, they're 2-2. Things right now do seem bad, but they're not as bad as they seem. You have to look at things through context here. Yes, they go against the Kansas City Chiefs, but Patrick Mahomes, he's struggling right now. The Saints could win that football game. They really could, and they're going to make that game close. Then they go against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but to lose against a division rival, that is what hurts. That's what hurts the most right now with a lot of Saints fans. So I would say pump the brakes. It's not time to go out there and put Derek Carr on the bench and put in Spencer Rattler. That's not going to fix anything. Clint Kubiak has to go out there and make more adjustments at the line of scrimmage, go out there and help out guys like Alvin Kamara, use Jamal Williams more as well. Jamal Williams so far has been a very disappointing signing. I understand last season, most of the season, he was dealing with an injury and he didn't play. But part of the reason to bring him in, so you can have the Alvin Kamara and the Jamal Williams effect, similar to how things used to be with him and Mark Ingram in the past. And not saying that Jamal Williams was just going to be Mark Ingram 2.0. But you want to take some mileage off of Alvin's body. This is a man that played yesterday against the Atlanta Falcons with broken ribs. And he's giving it his all. And you're still giving him over 20 touches a game. That should not be the case when you have a guy like Jamal Williams. So when it's 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 4, you can run the football with Jamal Williams. And that's another thing as well. Yesterday, in the second half, I don't know what happened with Clint Kubiak in the play calling. When it was 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6, the man called a draw play. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. That is some Pete Carmichael type of stuff right there. I don't want to ever see that again. And Clint Kubiak so far has been a way better offensive coordinator than Pete Carmichael. But that is something Pete Carmichael would do. I also look at Taysom Hill. Whenever Taysom Hill comes out the lineup, the offense is not the same. They have to find a way to go out there and have success without him. You look at Foster at the tight end position. He's a solid tight end. Jawan Johnson is the guy that Derek Carr has the best rapport with in that tight end room. And I understand this training camp period was a bit different. And also last season was a bit different as well because Jawan Johnson was dealing with that foot injury. Give him more snaps. Give him more reps at the tight end spot. I still think that he is a very valuable guy to have around. The Saints are still a good team. I'm worried about their offensive line. I'm worried about Dennis Allen. I'm not the biggest Derek Carr fan, but I will say this right here. He's not the reason why they have lost the last 2 weeks. When you lost against the Eagles, the defense played well. Yes, the offense only scored 12 points, but look at it with context here. Rashid Shaheed had 5 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards in that game. A lot of this is just on play calling. Derek Carr does need to be better, but I don't expect for him to be the Derek Carr that he was for the first 2 weeks of the season. We also have to look at it from this perspective as well. They beat the Carolina Panthers. They had one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL with Bryce Young. They feast on the team. And the defense with the Carolina Panthers, they're dealing with a lot of problems. Then they went on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys can't run the ball. They only have 2 receiving options in Jake Ferguson and CeeDee Lamb. So it's easy to game plan for. So when you face some tougher competition, you're not going to be able to just go out there and put up 30-plus points before halftime begins. You have to find a way to go out there and make adjustments on the fly and find ways to get your playmakers to football. Rashid Shaheed had a very good bounce back game against the Falcons, but they have to continue to do that as well. And stop just only using him as a deep threat. This is a man that can offer more underneath, especially with him and Chris Olave. But I do not think the sky is falling right now. They're not in a terrible way. But as long as Dennis Allen is the head coach with the Saints, personally, I'm going to have a lot of questions around the team. They are limited because of him, but we'll see what happens moving forward. We are still very early in the season. And even if the team does go down to being 2-4, they'll still be okay. Look at this division. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now, they're running the show, but you face them in 2 weeks. You can control that narrative. Yes, you lost against the Atlanta Falcons, but right now, the Saints and the Falcons have the same record. And you look at the Carolina Panthers, they're going through a lot of problems right now. They're going to be a tougher team moving forward. But guess what? The Saints already beat them in week 1. You have to go back to Carolina and take care of business again. They can go out there. They can go on the stretch. They can win some games. They will still be in the thick of things in this division. But the key matchups will be next week against the Kansas City Chiefs and against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about Derek Carr and the Saints moving forward? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, we want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for watching the video, guys. God bless. Peace.